Welcome to qnawire.
I'm covering a bunch of information about vehicles and the power and torque that they produce at certain engine speeds. So we're told a Chevy Silverado pickup truck with a V6 engine produces, let's see here, 285 horsepower at 5,300 RPM. That's the max horsepower, and it occurs at that speed. And now the max torque is 305 foot-pounds, and that occurs at 3,900 RPM. So they ask us, well, what is the torque it's producing when it's producing maximum power? So that's just T1 or tau 1, and that's P max over omega 1. And so we just need to do some unit conversions here. So we have, horsepower to watts. We got a factor by 746. Then RPM to radians per second, we need 2 pi over 60 factor. So what we get here is we get 383 newton meters. Now, if we want that into foot-pounds, we need to convert our newtons to pounds and our feet to meters. And doing that, we get 282 foot-pounds. So we can see that, in fact, it is less than our maximum torque, which we would expect, because, again, the maximum occurs at different speed. So then they ask, well, how much power is produced when the torque is maximum? Well, again, we need to do some unit conversion. So we convert our foot-pounds to newton meters, okay, with the conversion here, and our angular velocity from RPM to radians per second. And we get that the power at this state here, in this condition here, is 169 kilowatts. And now we need to divide that by 746 to get into horsepower, and we get 226 horsepower, which is, again, less than P max. So again, that it's consistent, at least, that the when it's producing maximum power, it's not producing maximum torque. When it's producing maximum torque, it's not producing maximum power. And so they ask us generally, how do you convert from, a foot-pound radian per second to horsepower? Well, again, that's just a unit conversion, right? So if we have torque in foot-pounds, we need to convert that into newtons meters here. If we have omega and RPM, we need to convert that to radians per second. And then we need to convert back from watts to horsepower. And so doing all this out, we get that there's a factor here of 5,254. So basically 1 horsepower is the torque in foot-pounds times the angular velocity in RPM divided by 5,254. So they give us information for a Camaro. Is reported to produce 580 horsepower at 6,000 RPM. So what is the torque? So again, we have the torque. We can just use this here. So we have horsepower, power in horsepower, and angular velocity in RPM, and so we can just use this factor here to convert that into foot-pounds of torque. So we get 5,254 times 580 horsepower divided by 6,000 RPMs, and that is 508 foot-pounds of torque at that condition. So there's probably some other operating condition where the torque is maximum, but this is they didn't really say that this was the maximum power condition, but I'm assuming that's what what they mean. So at some other condition, probably at a lower speed, you'll get maximum torque, but you'll get less power.